You're listening to the Para House Entertainment Network. Come join us as we take you deep into the fire to the paranormal realms of hauntings, UFOs, ETs, alien abductions, strange creatures, and the vastness of universal consciousness as we continue to seek what is not supposed to exist as we search for the truth that only comes from going into the fire. Hey everybody, and welcome to Into the Fire. How's everybody tonight? A great night here in Kentucky. What's it like down in Tennessee tonight?
It's hot.
Yes.
Hot.
Very hot.
Just kind of like the show we're going to have tonight, because we've got a super guest, a good friend of both of ours, and can't say enough about this man. He's been on the show many times before, back in the radio days, and he's been on this podcast before, and he is one of the hardest working guys that we both know. I mean, we couldn't keep up with him, and we sometimes think we work hard, but nobody works harder than the paranormal and the good things that we love to talk about and do than our guest tonight, Mr. Dave Spinks. And Dave is just the individual that he's out on the road right now. And he's coming live for us from a great place, the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. So, folks, if you're in the chat room and you're all sitting back, you're also going to be in Crescent Springs, Arkansas with Dave. And he's got a great view over here, and I'm going to bring him in just a minute. Anything else going on, Billy and Tanya? How y'all?
We're doing good, brother. Excited about tonight. Happy to have Dave back.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it so much. He's been doing a lot of stuff down there, and we'll see what it is. Chat room. We're looking forward to questions for Dave from you. Of course, Billy and Tanya will be keeping that up, and we'll see how that all goes. And why don't we just go ahead and bring this wonderful guy in? I mean, I could do a bio on him that would last for hours. He is a long-time investigator for over 35 years, I think it is now. He has done it all. He has been he's a lecturer. He does TV. He does documentaries, movies, all that. It's hard to pass him, but he's a great author too. He's authored 5 books. His newest one we're going to talk about tonight, which is the 46th Wicked 46, a Pennsylvania haunting. And we'll talk a little bit about that along with the other ones. So let's go ahead and bring Dave in. Hey, brother. How you doing, Dave? It's a pleasure to have you here today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I was looking forward to doing this show with you guys tonight.
Hey, it's wonderful that we're sitting out there on the balcony. I can see the balcony back there and everything else. And you're at the Eureka Springs. You still got that little brochure that you got there?
Yeah, man.
Flip that up. We saw this before the show, folks, and there's where he's at. And it is just a wonderful spot. It is one of those places that is known for its haunts and so forth. So tell me, how's it going down there? What's happening?
Well, the place is really cool. You know, this is one of those places that has been on my bucket list for years. You know, and what's cool about this place, you know, huge, long history, 1886. You can imagine all the different people that stayed here and all those different energies and everything. I mean, it's just hustle and bustle. And let me tell you, spirit-wise, it is busy here, man. Busy. I mean, you walk around and everywhere you go, you turn a corner and the hair on your arm stands up and on the back of your neck. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. And it's busy with living people, too. I mean, it's just a hustle and bustle place. and they embrace the paranormal here, which I love. You know, they have active ghost tours going on throughout the day and evening. People can come from town and just sign up. You know, you get online, go to their website, boom, get you a ghost tour. Come and check it out. It's got some dark history with some things that happened here with that guy, you know, and we can talk about that a little bit if you want. Yeah, well, he called himself a doctor. He wasn't no doctor.
Yeah.
He was actually they called him Dr. Norman. He called himself Dr. Norman Baker, but he was no doctor. Let me tell you, he never went to medical school. You know, you remember in the old cowboy days, you know, they talked about the snake charmer oils and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what this guy was. Let me tell you, man. He made up concoctions, claimed he could cure cancer. You know, by doing injections. He didn't agree with people slicing and dicing on folks, you know, and trying to put tumors out. So he'd inject people with all kinds of stuff and just kind of sit back and see what happened, you know, and of course here there's numerous springs coming right out of the mountain. And, you know, we all know in those days, that was one of the big, you know, things that people would go to the healing bath springs and everything, trying to heal everything from TB to leukemia to cancer, you name it, man. They tried anything. And that was like early days of homeopathic medicine, you know, and everything. Well, this guy, it's hard to tell how many people he killed. I mean, many of the people he injected, you know, if the cancer didn't kill him or whatever he was trying to treat him for, his shot killed him. Because he's injecting them with different types of acid and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, crazy stuff. And there's some stories of different spirits in this building and everything else. So it's a really cool place. The owner, she's a widower now, you know, or a widow, and she actually, from what I understand, lives up in the top penthouse of this place to this day. They are philanthropists. They came in, bought this place, refurbished it, and another hotel and several other buildings in the downtown area. So this place is cool, man. It's got that Lost Boys vibe to it, man. I mean,
it's that old timey.
It's awesome, man. They've got some old pipe organs in the lobby and stuff. One's a self-playing organ. It's 10 feet tall by 10 feet wide. Got 250 pipes in it. I mean, there's just some cool stuff here, man. So if you've never been, I highly, highly recommend it. And, you know, you can basically run around and investigate. You can run around the whole place and investigate. So we're going to do some events here in the future, for sure. You know.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. That's a hot spot. You know, we were talking about just before the show, we were also talking about the connection to the natives, and why don't you go into that just a little bit, because that's important too, because all that is there. I mean, you name it.
So this was if you've never heard of the Trail of Tears, look it up, guys. You know, it's
around here it's very common.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys know what it is, but some folks may not know what it is. Horrible time in our nation's history, you know, where, you know, our government came in and basically told all Native Americans they had to move off of their sacred land, their you know, the land that they were here for thousands of years before any of us were here, any European settlers and anybody else. And they marched thousands of natives across the country to out west to Oklahoma, and you know, gave them all this land that was basically just nothing, you know. And this was one of the stops here, a place right down that me and Serenity Jenny went to today, called the Blue Springs. 7,000 Cherokee camped there for 9 days during the Trail of Tears and let the stragglers catch up to them. Of course, thousands and thousands of Cherokees died along the Trail of Tears. That's why it's called the Trail of Tears. They foot marched for hundreds. I mean, some ungodly amount of miles, and you know, we're talking young and old and everybody else. They were forced to do it, or they would have been imprisoned or killed. So, so
most of them died. A lot of them, a lot of the elderly, a lot of the young died on the trip. You know, and even
A lot of
they waited for them to catch up there. There were still people that died there at that scene when they were there because they were just tuckered out. I mean, that trail was a long trail, and they had a north side and a south side, and it came back, and it all came down to the same place, and just terrible.
They had this huge rock outcropping there at those springs where they stayed at, and that was considered. They called it a place of where they could try to recuperate for a while, and those sacred springs, and it's still celebrated as that today. It's a memorial to the Cherokee people that died along the Trail of Tears. And if you've never experienced something like that and go into this place, this magical place of spiritualism and energy, you got to do it. You got to do it. I mean, I'm telling you, it'll change you. It really will, because you can feel the energy there. You can feel the sadness. But it's also a very magical place as well. You got the water, the energy from that healing water spewing out of the earth and healing people and bringing life. Water brings life. So it really, we put our feet in it. It re-energized us. You could feel it working through your body. It was amazing. So I don't even know how to describe it to you.
Oh, I mean, just by looking at you and listening to you, I know it's just like you get that feel, that. I mean, and we know how much that area is because, I mean, look at everything you've got. You've got those springs coming out there. You've got crystal mines all over the place. Crystals just, I mean, it's just growing everywhere. And of course, it's a very spiritual place, especially where that area is. And with the healing and the sorrow and bringing forth all your energy back into yourself from there to continue the trip onward. And man, that's just
it's very spiritual.
Oh yeah, it's extremely spiritual.
I can't even put it into words, to tell you the truth. I mean, this whole thing has been some kind of spiritual journey for myself, this whole trip, because paranormal wise, we've done what's being done over and over again. Okay. Right now we're spinning our wheels, so to speak, and it's time to advance the field to the next higher level, so to speak. And to me, that's energy work, and that's spiritual. People today are not in tune with the spiritual side of things and nature and everything. And that's a huge part of who we are as human beings. If we're connected to everything, every leaf, every strand of grass, every rock, every piece of dirt, the sky, the wind, you name it, it's all intertwined. And that is where we're going to find some more answers, individually and as a collective consciousness as well. God works through each and every one of us, all beings, all things, and it's all interconnected. And there's some crazy stuff out there. There's crazy stuff out there. There are spirits roaming around that are bad and good ones as well. And there's entities and there's beings that we don't know what in the heck they are and what they're doing here, but they're there. And
I just love to hear you talk about that, because you're right. This is the new place where paranormal is, and we've done a lot of this stuff, is taking it to the next level, coming and understanding that we are one with everything. And we're just a spirit that continues onward and onward within a small meat suit that rots, and we're continue moving. Our energy is always there, and all the energy is still there.
I come from a skeptical, investigative law enforcement background. Okay, I have to see it, touch it, taste it, smell it to know it's real. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Right.
Because I've had some things happen to me that are just woof. I mean, I don't even know how to say it.
It changes your whole outlook.
I know the few times I've investigated with you, we've had a pretty wild time.
Yeah, and the more I've done this, I knew there was way more to it. And you know, working with you, Bear, and Jenny and other people that are way up there in that type of realm. Keep telling me, you know, you guys have told me you're something else that you don't understand, and I'm like, you're full of shit, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. When you see it, though, man, it's like going, hey, we're all.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's just now I know I'm seeing it, I'm experiencing it, I'm feeling it. And, you know, we went and dug crystals out of the freaking mountain as well a few days ago, and I had the most bizarre thing happen to me. I felt both chambers of my heart pounding at separate beats.
Really?
I felt like I was gonna pass out. I almost did pass. Like I got real like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And they had to put their hands on me, you know, to like I got. They said it was like a reboot. Jen said it was like a reboot. Like I got rebooted.
Yeah, and exactly.
That's the most sense I can make out. I got a reboot, and then today carried it over to the healing side of it, and I mean, I feel like a whole different person today.
Sure.
Whole different person.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what that does. I mean, you're lighting that that far inside of you, you know, and it takes care of you very well, you know. Yeah, and I can see it on your. I mean, I can see it on your face. I can see it as I'm talking to you.
We were sitting around there just chilling. You know, there's a few other people around. Had our feet in that spring. There's like, you know how the moss grows in the water when it's flowing and stuff. Got your feet in that moss and touching the ground at the same time. There was butterflies flying all around. It was the craziest. I mean, I was calling it fairy world. We're in fairyland. I said we're in magic land. Awesome. It's crazy. So, I mean, it's a truly humbling experience, you know, the last week. Really, really, you know, it makes you feel about that big, but at the same time, you feel huge because you know, you feel the connection.
Right. Of everything, of all of it. Yeah. You get the
You're like, I'm a little teeny piece of that, but I'm also part of all of it. So it's just the most bizarre experience.
Well, I am so glad that you are moving towards that way, and it's going to be great because that is another thing that you do more in. You know, it's just it never stops. You know, the other thing is still going on, but you're doing it in another way.
Yeah, we've all been doing it, but we don't realize what we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're on our own path, but we only get bits and pieces of that. Right. And we've been doing it this whole time, helping people and doing what we know we got to do. But when you realize the bigger scope of it, you're like, "What? Wait a minute here."
Yeah.
You know, you're taking time to smell the roses, and then you start opening up more and realizing everything that's around you, and it's eye opening. It opens up everything.
Oh, and it's all about. And I keep on telling people, you don't understand how much it's all about frequency, energy, and vibration, and how it goes, and how it just takes you away and gives you the strength to do things way far beyond what you can think.
Yeah, you know, you've got your negative type entities like demons and different, you know, ranks, everything else. They're low vibration, you know, low vibration. When your vibration gets to a high level, they can't handle it. They're out of there, man. So
they don't even want to be around you.
if you're, you know, you're doing drugs and you're slamming alcohol all the time, and that brings your vibration down, folks. And that's why
they congregate towards that.
Right. And you get those attachments and you get other things that are not very nice. You know what I mean? And you can still get them even if you're not doing those things because you have other things that may be wrong. Like it's been explained to me, like there's a hole in your soul, or, you know, you have, you know, maybe guilt issues or different things, like one of your family members died and you have that horrible, you know, you're just very sad, and it opens you up to those things. So, you know, so you got to be mindful of what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you interact with people as well. You know, so there's a lot of things that I don't know, man. It's just wow.
You're so right, Dave. I also think that as you get to that level, you know, we're talking about those lower vibrational spirits. that hang in that area that we've worked with. We try to help people with. We do all that other stuff. And as we raise ours, the one thing that I think I find is that there's some of them are at a higher level and they're still negative. And they're just tougher than bones, and they come after you. They're like going, oh no.
Yeah, but I mean, we all go through those times in life, but it's important to take time for yourself and regroup yourself to get back up to that higher level to help you out to where you can help others out.
They don't want us doing this kind of stuff at all, because then they know that you kind of have ascended to
you're becoming
higher, so to speak, and they want to blow you up, man. Basically, they want to kill you.
Right.
Yeah. So, they don't want that. They want that. They don't want that energy growing and infecting others and bringing that all together, because that oneness, what does it do? It spreads and it drives them out to the outers. They can't stand it. They can't do it.
Yeah, and then if you learn it, guess what? You can teach it to new people.
Others.
And it's a snowball effect. And look out now, because there's a lot of people that are blowing stuff up, and they don't like that. And that's what's going on in the world in general today. They're losing grip, so to speak. They've had the grip, on so many people. So many people are brainwashed with the cell phone in their hand, and the TVs and the radios. They believe everything they see on the news. There's a bunch of walking zombies, man. And it's not. It's all false. It's all BS. They've controlled the human race forever now, with this garbage, and people are slowly waking up, and they're grabbing at straws now. They're going, uh-oh, we're in trouble. So
there won't be any place to hide once this goes through. As more people understand it, the more people get to it, the more people are raised, the frequency goes up. No place to hide.
There's so many that don't see it, and they never will, unfortunately.
Well, that's the other part about it, is there are some that just will never be there, and all we can do is try to talk to them when they're available to talk to, and maybe they can change their mind before it's all too late. So, but it's all part of that. It's all part of raising it, and all part of.
And it's not nothing new. I mean, they've been doing experiments with it forever.
Oh yeah, well, look at what they've done to. They've actually they were experimenting on it and using it for the wrong types of things. They were eating your brain up with it, and they were downing you, because that's the part that they were controlling. That's the part they tried to wipe out of you, so that you didn't have that to be able to fight with, because when you realize that you're as strong as they are, they already lost. That's the problem. And
that's what they don't want you to know, the truth and the reality. They're poisoning us with the medicines that they give us. Because how many commercials do you see? Well, we got this new great medicine, but this medicine may cause 27 different side effects.
And
they're injecting us with or all this stuff. Well, it'll cure this thing, but it kills you with these other 27 things that it causes. So that's some of the stuff that these satanic elites and all these people who are what I call demonic puppets, who are controlling. There's 1% of them are controlling the entire world, basically.
Yes, 1%, maybe a percent and a half. But I mean, it's
less than 1%.
Yeah,
it's like 200,000 of them are controlling the entire world's population. They control the money, the gas, the medicine. They want control. They want to poison the water, the air, our food, everything, because it turns us into brainwashed zombies, basically. And that's what they've done for a long, long time. So,
well, see, the problem about it is it's the conscious mind that they go after that deals on everything around you. The subconscious mind, they change. They take the thing away from you, and then it just goes from there. I mean, if you hold on to that subconsciousness, because we are all everything,
Right.
And if you understand that, you can go to the well of universal consciousness and drink from it every day, and you'll be 100%. That's the one.
I've had a this week I can't explain. I just don't know. It's just phenomenal.
That's awesome, brother.
He's smiling.
Yeah.
He said, I can see it on your face. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm telling you, man, I can't even describe it. I can't describe it. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
that's awesome, brother. That is really awesome. Awesome. I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you about some other things that happened to me privately that just are blowing my mind too. But
yeah, can't wait to hear. Can't wait to. You know, that there is so much.
And the way this whole trip happened was just like, I got a phone call from Jen. She said, "We're going to Arkansas." I'm like, "What?" And I said, "Okay." And the week before that, I was at that Bigfoot event. I met a Native American, a Sioux,
Right.
Native American, who said, "You need this." He gave me a pipe that he made. He gave me my own medicine bag, and he said, "You need to go. You know, you're going to need this very soon." Where am I now?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Let me tell you, because I need to talk. I was busy with my table and doing all that stuff, and he just he sends somebody into my table. His table, he had a table too.
Right.
And he sends somebody in with a note that says, "I need to talk to you ASAP."
Yeah.
And he's a veteran. And I go up to, as soon as I got a few minutes, I went over and I was, hey, shook his hand, nice to meet you, this and that. And he goes, "You need this, and you're going to need this." And I'm like, "What?" So.
And that wasn't by chance.
No, that's not.
There's a reason for that.
He saw it.
Yeah.
He saw it. He knew.
That's it.
He already knew before I knew what we were doing. I mean, we had talked about it a little bit, and I said, "Yeah, we're going," but it was not about this for me. You know what I'm saying? It was my own thing, and then boom, a lot of things happen.
And it makes it a whole different.
Isn't it cool how that happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it the whole thing becomes different because it even when you look at the Bigfoot deal, Sasquatch deal, and you look at that way, then you see, don't you have another understanding of him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like
my medicine bag has a Bigfoot on it.
Yeah.
Made.
Yeah, exactly. That's wonderful. That is super. That is super.
So also yesterday, we heard about this place called a natural bridge over here.
The natural bridge? Yeah.
Yeah, and this pivot rock was there too, right? So we go over there, and of course it's a rock formation that the water basically wore a hole through, and it's a natural bridge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We go down in there, and it's all of a sudden we're hearing wood knocks and freaking some weird gibber chatter up on the hill. I'm seeing something move up there. Then we go over to the pivot rock, and there's just all kind of action going on all around us. And me and her were the only people down there, man. And then we had a little trail you walk out through the woods and see these things. And we took, did some pictures and stuff like that. Then we go back, we're headed back toward the entrance, and there's a cave there. We stood there for about, 30 seconds, and she's like, "Oh, boom." She's rolling out, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, speed walking out of there. And I finally picked up, I'm like, "Did you feel what I thought you felt?" She said, "Yeah, freaking a rake was in there." But the Bigfoots there was multiple Bigfoots up on the ridge. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
They were protecting us from that.
Right, exactly.
And it was weird, man. This place is super squatchy too, man. You can see behind me. I mean, it's like West Virginia.
Yeah.
It's just like West Virginia, Tennessee. I mean, we took the scenic road, and there was miles, 3 hours of nothing but mountains.
Nothing but squatch land. And that's where it's at. I mean, it's like when every time I go home, Kentucky's got a lot of it, but when I head home to West Virginia and then driving down the road, I look and go, there is nothing from there all the way to there. And if you walk through that place, you may be walking somewhere no one has been.
I guarantee it's like that right here too. It's crazy. Yeah. And some of the haulers here are some of the deepest haulers I've ever seen.
Really?
I mean, they are deep deep hollers. And we're sitting on a tectonic plate, a fault line. There's freaking crystals all in these mountains. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, ginormous ones. We seen pictures and when she was here last time, she came here and she got one that was a cathedral one. That thing's like, I don't know, 20 pounds. It's like that big. And then we saw a guy dig one out of the same thing. We were there too. He dug one out. I mean, they're just laying all over the ground, man. You just go and dig them up and boom.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing stuff.
So we know that ETs, they use these crystals and different things for energy purposes. And right here's this place right here and in Hot Springs and Brazil are considered the two best places in the world for these type of quartz crystals.
Right.
Yeah.
They have the clearest one, and it's
clear as can be. I have one. Let me reach over here. I've got a small one, and I have never seen a crystal. This is from that area. I have never seen a crystal that clear.
Yeah. And we were digging. We got buckets full of them.
Clear as clear can be. Yeah, I know. I mean, and they're just as clear as can be. Normally, there's cloud in and a little bit of that, but that area there is known for its pure crystal. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful place.
You took them to the car. Yeah.
So what are you
clear
doing
now? You broke up.
Hey, what's
broke up really bad?
Oh, what's your next plan? What are you doing next?
Well, we got a few things we want to do here on this site tonight. I may do some live ghost box tonight.
I bet it'd be pretty good. You're hearing some weird noises back there or somewhere?
Yeah.
I just heard one too.
This place is busy, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
but
I'm telling you, yeah.
There are people walking around and stuff like that, but there's also something else going on.
Right, there's something else going on there. I got that vibe. I mean, I think all of our eyeballs opened up and went, "Did you just hear that? What the heck? That is definitely something bad." So yeah, it's great. And I know you're still doing the paranormal stuff. You're still doing everything else. You're writing.
Oh yeah.
You're doing documentaries all the time. You're always doing that. You're doing it right, man. And that's the wonderful thing about it. When you look at all the people that are in the business, and I compare them to you guys. Oh wow. Awesome. Awesome. I love that bag.
Perfect.
That is perfect. That is.
Now I see why he gave you that bag.
Yeah. Now I see why he did. Yeah. I agree with you, man.
Wow. I was like so appreciative, I mean, he's all this is yours,
Yeah. And that's what they do. I mean, it's wonderful how they share that. And, when others do that, when we do it to people, it's all that. It's about that. You've got to have this. Here, you have this. This is important to you.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
A lot of people don't see it though. They just look at it and go, "Rock." Bag.
They don't even know. They don't even know that Mother Earth makes that.
Right.
They think it's something glass that's manufactured by a company. No, that comes out of the ground, people.
Right.
Comes out of our ground.
Yeah. Pure, right out of the ground, and it's part of it's got energy with it because the Earth is putting out its own energy, its own magnetic forces, and also it's got its own frequency that it's talking to everything at, and you are reflective in all of that. It's all part of it.
It's crazy, and you can feel it, man.
I love hearing about it. Love hearing about it. I'm going to go into the chat room real fast, see if anybody's got a question, because so many people love you, Dave. I mean, you've been around for such a long time and doing so many great things. Just saying hi to Frankie Lynn. How you doing? Hello, Christy. How are you? Kimmy, nice to see you. Jen Berman. Leanne, hi, how you? Tina Swans, how you doing? Melvin Brazel, hey Melvin, what's going on? If I didn't call you out, I apologize, but it's so great to have you all here. And if you have a question for Dave, please put it in the chat room, and we'll see what's going on. And I thank you so much, because someone said, Jesus is so interesting tonight. And you know, what we're talking about is really cool, and it's about going an extra, taking the new step towards your future for everything. You know, it's very important.
We have to.
We have to. You got to pull away from this other garbage, you know.
I mean, what you on?
Has a question.
I've been on TV. Who does?
Frankie Lynn.
She's got a question for you, Dave. Go ahead.
Do it. Let's do
it. She says, what is your favorite subject to investigate? UFO, cryptid, ghosts, etc.
Oh, I really can't say I like it all, because I think it's all intertwined. In some aspects, it all crosses over. In some aspects, it all fascinates me. It's all right there. You know, I mean, it's all together. Things cross over. And as investigators, we've talked about this on this show before. You have, as an investigator, you have to step outside that box, that TV, and so many other things. Put everything. They want to lump Bigfoot separately, UFOs separately, haunting separately. Well, you can do that if that's what you want to concentrate on. That's fine. But as an investigator, you're doing yourself an injustice, and everyone else, by not stepping outside that box and looking at all angles of things. And I'll give you an example. An example is, on many cases that I've talked to folks, interviewed people, and investigated, say if there's a rash of Bigfoot sightings in an area, right? And you're investigating those Bigfoot sightings, why not go the extra step and see, is there anything else going on? Because many cases I've investigated, there's also a bunch of strange lights reported in the sky in the same general area. Now, what is that telling you? Hey, there could be something bigger going on here, something different. Something is crossing over. Is Bigfoot an ET? Because we don't know what Bigfoot is yet. Is it interdimensional? Is it a long dead extinct ape species, and we're just seeing the spirits of these animals? Is it, you know, the natives have, you know, what I look for in Bigfoot, and what's compelling to me is the natives have talked about these creatures for thousands of years. Almost every single tribe in the world has a Bigfoot type creature story or folklore or, you know, history of in their tribal folklore. They don't keep written records. They pass it down generation to generation to generation. And for it to make it this far, for this many thousands of years, there's no doubt about it in my mind. It's real.
Yeah, okay?
You know, they could be elementals that some tribes call them the keeper of the woods, or, you know, they have their area and we had ours, because many years ago we had wars with these creatures over territory and food and different things. You know, I like to think of Bigfoot like people. We have black folks, we have yellow folks, red folks, you know, the whole nine. And some are nice and some are not nice. So, you know, it's just, to me, that's what they are. You know, they're a higher level being of some sort. I don't know if they're ET or interdimensional, but they're definitely smart, and they've definitely been on this planet for thousands of years.
And they're definitely big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have that energy. It's like they know the well is there within them, and they use that. And that's the way that they do everything. And
and there's other cases, like I've gone and investigated. I think you've ran across some of these too, Bear, over your time, where you go and investigate a haunting or poltergeist-like activity, but then you find out from the homeowners later on, oh yeah, well, I have these dreams every night. These little gray beings are coming into my room, and I'm floating through my ceiling.
Exactly.
So you're like, well, you didn't tell me that in the beginning. What the heck? You know?
Right. That changes things.
Right. That changes everything, because what are we dealing with here? Are these ETs implanting these things into our minds, or making things happen? You know, to maybe they're projecting demonic visuals in our mind that we think are demons, but it's actually them doing something to to manipulate us some sort of way, because you know, because of the system we're in, and the matrix, so to speak, you know, how we're being controlled.
Yeah,
because there is an old theory and an old there's talk out there that the Anunnaki were an ET race that came to this planet and enslaved man. So are they doing this? Are they implanting this into our mind? And this stuff can go way out there, folks. I'm not trying to. You're probably saying, "Wow, this dude's nuts," but I'm telling you, that stuff is out there. If you research it, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, there were giants.
Pyramids.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, just come to Kentucky. You can see places. I've been to sites where they've done it, and I've seen them in other locations through Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, all of these areas. West Virginia, I don't know if they found one. They found some pretty weird looking rocks that maybe been moved around. Something moved them. But
they've found numerous giant skeletons in the mounds of West Virginia as well.
Yeah,
they've been found all over the world, man. I mean, some had double rows of teeth, and every time they would do one
down here have double rows of teeth. Exactly. They're
and within 24 hours or less, government agents come in, take these skeletons in here, and know nothing about it again. They go right to the Smithsonian vaults or other places because they know what really went down here. Because you know, they keep our history, our real truth, and our real history away from us. Because why? It's just like we talked in the beginning of the show. That's what is the truth, and they don't want us knowing the truth because that gives us power.
Right, exactly. Truth is power, and you know when you dumb us down and change the things, then what are you doing? You're living a non-reality. What, truthfully, the reality is the stuff that nobody believes and thinks that we're all conspiracy theorists and everything else. And the other side of it is the stuff that they just made up and throw at you, and everybody eats it up with a spoon.
Right, and we're I mean, I'm telling you right now, the human race as a whole, we are puppets. That's all we are.
Yeah,
because they have dumbed us down and controlled us for so long. They only give us bits and pieces of the truth that's in the Bible and many different religious speaking and things. They only give us little bits and pieces, and then they twist it to their own, you know, however they want it to
however they want to use it to you, to hold you down and to do that. You know?
That's the reality of it.
Right, exactly.
The way it's always been, too.
Yeah.
How many versions of the Bible are there now?
Right.
One in my book.
Right. You know, and
as long as you got unconditional love,
yes, I do. Yes, I do. But his word has been twisted and manipulated.
It has been
so bad to this point. But let me tell you, all this stuff's boiling up to a big giant pimple head, and it's going to bust pretty soon. You know, and it's going to be, it's not going to be pretty because the higher ups that are controlling everything, they know that we're very close to just boom, and they're not going to like it very much. When you got 7 billion people against 200,000, it's not going to work out too well for them.
That's right. Exactly. You know, I love it. Every time I have you on, we go someplace, and this is a great place to go. You know, we're both everyone here on the screen right now are paranormal investigators, but we're also extremely spiritual people, and we all understand, and we all go to that, and we work on that just as much as we do in our paranormal fields and everything else, because it's all even that's intertwined, you know. And you draw power from that, and that's how we're able to determine and fight the things that we fight, or do the things that we come across, and do those things. And it's so important. And wow,
it's all about intent, you know. It's all about having that good intent, higher vibration, helping folks, and just being a good person. And you know, it's just all about that type of situation. And we've been lied to for so long now, so long.
We have. And when you break out of that and you get the smell, the clean, wonderful, fresh stuff, it really takes you by a great, it gives you a great lift and a great boost. And you get to see that, wow, my eyes are clearing and everything else is clearing. You know, I love that thing.
It's crazy.
You know, Billy is sitting over there smiling like a wild man. I think you have him totally speechless.
Well, I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Well, like I said, guys, I've been on, I've done, I don't know, numerous TV shows now. And that's just you're only seeing, they only allow us to see, like I've told you guys and many other people, they cut out all the good stuff almost all the time.
I know.
And you'll be in a place and you're getting this phenomenal evidence. And then you see I don't see the final cut on what I've done until you guys do either.
Right.
So I'm sitting there watching it, waiting for, I know this stuff's going to be on there. Boom, it's not on there. I'm like, God, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Because it's all part of that system. They don't want to show too much of the real stuff because of that. And, it's
they already have a program already planned out, and what doesn't go with that program doesn't get into that program. You know?
And it goes through so many layers of changes and things all the way up the ladder. And then they say, oh, no, cut that out. And they don't, because they don't, number one, they don't know what to look for. They don't do what we do.
No,
they just want to present what they think is a good TV program, and it ends up taking out the best stuff. And I'm like, how come you didn't show me that thing flew across the room, or whatever, and they're like, well, I'm just like, man, you got to be kidding me. But that's just, TV, like I said, TV's a bonus. It's fun to do. It lets me get my name out there so folks can come and see what I really do,
That's what it's about. And one of the things that I like about you, and as far as you're going on TV, and you're not selling out.
Nope.
You let it out like it is.
I've turned down my own show several times now because of that very reason. I've had contract in hand 3 different times. And when they said, well, if you don't get nothing, we may have to do this. And I said, no, I don't may have to do nothing. Go find someone else. I said, if I get something, I get it. If I don't, I don't. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. And I said, that's not what it's all about anyway, guys. You don't see the big picture here. You're not seeing it. I know you got, because they're governed by dollars. That's the reality of it. They're governed by ratings and dollars. And if you don't get legit evidence, they're going to make evidence, and I don't like that, and I will not do a show that does that because of that. Because my reputation is everything, and I just want to show people the real deal. That's why I'm so proud about some of the things I've done lately that's showing the evidence that we've captured. And we had to leave out evidence too because we had so much of it we couldn't fit it into the video, man. It wouldn't even fit in the file. It was too good.
Yeah.
So the Malefice video that myself and Sean Austin and Eric Connor did with Billy Lewis, the evidence in that video is downright just unreal. It's as real as it gets. Some of it was captured live where thousands of people were watching when we got it. And it all ties into an investigation we did back in 2015. We had to go back to try to get that thing off of Sean. It was mainly his show because it was about him. He had an attachment from that investigation we did, and you'll see what came out of it. And it's pretty freaking amazing and downright damn spooky too.
Yes,
we were dealing with
it's the reality of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis when you're in the real.
To me, that's, you don't get much realer than that. You're not going to see the freaking Exorcist movie with someone's head spin around. That can happen. Don't get me wrong, but that's very, very rare. And I don't want to see that, but I know what we experienced was real. This thing was coming through for years at different locations that we investigated together. And we went and did something about it. And during that last investigation, we got more validation of what we were dealing with. It turns out it was a certain demon that deals with child sacrifice and other things. We got the name over and over on numerous devices. And I can't tell you, just watch the movie, man. Go to scarenetwork.tv because
that's what I wanted to say is if you're going to the Scare Network, folks, and
open your eyes, and I'm, me, Barry, I'm not a big person to throw around the demonic terminology and demon name, but that was definitely one time when I will say what we were dealing with there was pure evil.
Yeah, exactly. And what you're dealing with is the sacrifice and that kind of stuff is something else that's going on that most people are totally obliviated to.
But
that's for another story. And if we get into that, I will be off air in 2 seconds. But
Well, that whole thing was meant for two purposes. It was meant to show what we do, what we can run into doing this stuff, and what we dealt with, and also serve as a warning to paranormal investigators that you just never know what you can come across when you're doing this stuff. I'll give you the base of it. Was we were actually down the road at another location. This place turned out to be where we were sleeping, and we didn't know nothing about it until we met the person that would put us in the place, right? Yeah. And they said, well, when we lived here, we had all this crazy stuff happen. We rolled out of here, you know. Yeah. And that's part of the location down the street. You could pay and stay there while you're investigating. And that's what happened. Wow. So lo and behold, we pretty much did a little thing over at the original place. And then we were like, oh, man, this place is jacked up over here. And we just started running with it over there and stayed over there the majority of the time. And then that whole thing attached to Sean, it was crazy. So, you know, you just never know what you will run across doing this stuff. And I've had, you know, that's what my Wicked 46 book is about. I got an attachment from an investigation I did back in 2013, and it jacked my life up.
Yes.
Big time.
You know, it's funny. We've all had them. I mean, and we go through them all the time. And you know that. I know that. Billy and Tanya know that. Okay, that's what we deal with. And that's the thing that we always try to bring out to folks, saying, look, folks, you know, this is something not to play with. It's great that you're interested in the paranormal. It's great that you are all into this, but be careful, because there is a lot of things that are out here that are very hard to deal with, and you got to learn to deal with them. You know, they're here. You can make the wrong mistake and be in serious trouble. And we've all done that. We've all done that. You've done that. I've done that. Billy and Tanya's done it, you know, and you pay for it. I mean, you do pay for it. But
at the same time, we know that we all have a mission, and we're here to help people.
Exactly.
And that's what we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Someone calls us on the phone. They said, I got some crazy stuff going on in my house. Can you please help me? I don't know. I'm out at my wit's end. You know, I'm getting scratched. I'm doing this. My kids are getting attacked. Whatever the case, we're there on our own time. We go there and we help people. Sometimes you step in the way of these things and they don't like it, because they don't forget you either. And their whole mission is to seek and destroy souls. Our whole mission is to help those people they're trying to do that to and get that thing out of there.
Right. Exactly.
So, you know, I've done hundreds of residential cases over my time. You've done it. I mean, it's you know, that's
what we do. I mean, that's what we're here for. You know, there's nothing more better than dealing with and giving back a person their home or giving back them their life, you know. And as long as they, you know, and when we leave, we give them some pretty stiff rules of what they got to do. And if they listen and they do it, then they continue on in a right way. But there are always going to be people that will say,
well, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You know?
Exactly.
I know so many people that I've talked to. I don't believe in none of that stuff. But this one time, I saw this. Well, you had an experience, dude. So how can you not believe, you know, in that there's something else out there you just don't understand, because you just told me out of your own mouth you don't believe in this, but this one time you had this experience. And almost every person out there has had something that happened to them in their lives they can't explain. You know, they're like, whoa. But there's, you know, fear is a powerful thing, and they don't even want to address it because of that. You know, in the old days, like my grandfather was a Baptist minister for 40 years. When I tried to talk to him about the Bigfoot encounter we had, he wouldn't talk about it. He's like, nope, that's demons. That's it. I'm not talking about it.
Right.
And if you talk about it, it brings them closer. We're not doing that. And he would shut me down. And it was so frustrating because I wanted to know what the heck it was. You know, I needed more information. Sure. And that's why I do what I do today, you know. And then it just spiraled into the whole ball of wax with hauntings and everything else, you know. So,
we all came from the same place, all came from West Virginia, and we all heard the same stories. folklore is everywhere, and religion was a very big part of the hills. So you can make a local call. Back when it would cost a quarter, or we talked about local calls. It was a local call to heaven back then,
Right.
But it's like there's. I'm looking at one of the quotes here. Christy Moore used asks, "How can you make others see the truth?" Yeah, all we can do is explain it to them and ask them to hear and to keep an open eye and an open mind, and you have to have that.
And like we always say, everybody do your own research.
Right, exactly. Do your own research.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you try to help somebody, but if they're not going to do things to help themselves, then you can't fix it, because there's certain things they have to do and keep up with to keep that energy level higher.
Yeah.
And if they refuse to do them, then they're not going to help themselves.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. That's totally 100% true. They'll call you for help, but then they don't want to do what's required to keep that bad mojo out of their area. They'll do it for a day or two, and they'll say, "Okay, it's gone." Well, no, it's not gone. Because you got to keep following through. And if you keep reverting yourself to a lower vibration by, say, if you have drug or alcohol or whatever issue you have, if you keep reverting back to that, you're just gonna let it come back in. You have to make life changes sometimes to get rid of these things. Prime example, when you go to a bar, they call it drinking spirits. They do that. That's a real thing.
It is. Yeah.
Think about this. You're drinking. How many people do we all know that's done some stupid stuff when they were drunk, and they would never have done if they were sober? Because what it does is you're numbing your system, you're lowering your defenses, and you're allowing those things to jump into you and take control of you. And that's for real. That's why they call it spirits. I'm telling you.
Well, exactly. I use that many a times, and that is such a true point.
Yep.
You've got to stay focused and stay.
Nothing wrong with having a few drinks here and there, but man, if you do it all the time and you're getting hammered every time, you're asking for trouble.
That is,
I've been there. I'm telling you, I've done it before myself.
Man. I'll stand up and testify to that for sure. I know. I mean, those are the things that happen in life, and that's the truth. And hey, man, this has been just a wonderful show. And hey, Lars, how you doing? Chris Garcia, I see that you're in there also. Just had to say, give you a shout out. And we want to thank you all so much on the chat room for tuning in tonight. And it's been a pleasure having Dave here tonight. I mean, this went better than, when you have Dave on, you can go so many different ways. And today we heard something that is going to be something that's going to be coming out more and more, that needs to be brought out and needs to come forward. And I am so glad that we had this conversation tonight, and we can put it on the air and put it on YouTube and a few other places, because I'll be danged. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is it, right, brother?
Oh yeah. I mean, I really see it more than I've ever saw it now. And, we're going to be doing some new things, in the work that I do myself. And, because I think it's very important, try to raise your vibration up and raise your energy up, and use what's within each and every one of us to help folks and teach folks, hey, this is what we got to do as human beings to raise our vibration, to become above those lower vibration entities and spirits and different things like that, because knowledge is power. The more we know, the stronger we are. So, and it's very important to progress to that level, so to speak.
Yeah.
We may have just seen a UFO fly behind your head.
It was either that or a pterodactyl.
I had to say it.
I was going to say, UFO or a friggin' pterodactyl just flew by.
You got the roper down there or something.
Man, that was big.
There's some pigeons some pigeons that like to hang out on the rooftop. This place is huge, by the way. It's huge. So
Well, I'm looking at that. Did you just see?
You're at the
I'm looking at
treetop.
that white light back there in that corner now, kind of going off and on. I don't know what the heck's going on over there, but the film camera picking it up real nice. Tower. All right, good. Getting dark down there.
well, there is looks like a radio telescope out back through there too as well.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah, so pretty interesting.
Hey, man, I got to sell some
with
books
that.
for you. I got to sell some books for you. Why don't you talk about the books? And I'm going to put up. Give me 1 second, and let me throw up. These are some of the. If you haven't read, if you like a quick read and a great read, pick up some of these books by Dave Spinks. They are great. I've got a few of them. We all have, and they are just super books. So. They're available on Amazon.com. Just search for author Dave Spinks. They'll all come up. Talk about 46 and go through them, brother, if you would, please. Can you see them up there?
Yeah, I can see them. All right, so the Wicked 46 book, that's my newest book, but it's actually the first book I ever wrote. And that all transpired. And what it basically is a pretty much a day-by-day journal of what I experienced at this infamous house in Wilkes-Barre, PA. And I'll give you just kind of a little bit of the backstory on it real quick so you get a gist for what's going on. So I was approached by this guy that I investigated with many years ago. And I'm not going to mention names because I changed some of the people's names in the book for privacy reasons and due to personal conflicts over the years and everything, but it's still my story. And I just changed their names for that purpose. But there are a few people in it that were there that I left their names in that had crazy experiences as well. So this house, guys, goes back for the property goes back for many, many years. Here we go again with the Native Americans. Okay. So the European settlers came into that area. That area was a known spot for several tribes where they grew their medicine gardens and everything. The Europeans came in, started taking over the land. There was many wars fought between them and the natives. Many people died. Well, this one guy came out. He was a land baron. He had slaves and the whole 9 yards. Many Native American graves were also desecrated when the settlers came in. And so this guy, I'm not going to give you his name because I want you to read the book, but he had a large property there where this house sits today. And some strange events began occurring. His son was out in the barn with the horses. Lightning struck the barn. The horse freaked out, flipped over onto him, pinning him to the ground. The barn caught on fire, and the son and the horse and all the other livestock burned alive.
Wow.
And yeah. And then also the slaves that he had in the house were doing voodoo rituals in the house. So all these things started happening. Well, after he died and everything, another guy was killed by a horse in the backyard, pinned against a tree. A priest died on the front porch of a heart attack when they came to cleanse the house. And many families, when we did the research on the property, it was like clockwork. A new family would move in, and almost within a month or less, sometimes, and a little bit more, these families would just move out of this place, right? Yeah. And some left their belongings, everything they owned. They just rolled out because of the paranormal activity. Well, over the years, the word got out that this was a notorious haunted house. Well, the Warrens came there in the early 80s. Lorraine and Ed Warren. In some of their cases, they had extremely good case files, and others they did not. And this comes from their nephew, Johnny Zaffis. Okay.
Right.
Was he actually investigated this house with me and us at this house when we were there. We spent, the whole gist was our friend Noreen Balovich, who runs a show on YouTube called Paranormal Zone TV. She was into real estate at the time, and she called the guy I was working with and said, I found this place that's listed for sale as a haunted house. So oh yeah, there we go. Got a little bit more light. So going back to that, so it was listed as a haunted house. So we came up with a brilliant idea of something that still to this day, I don't think has ever been done. We put a team together. We talked to the people that had it up for sale and decided we were going to go live in this house for a month and investigate it 24/7.
Wow.
Because we figured, hey, what better idea could we have as far as investigators to go and actually live in a house where all these things are reported, actually immerse ourselves in this situation, because we only get to go in some of these locations for a matter of 5-6 hours, and by being in there 24/7, living, eating, sleeping, the whole 9 yards in this house, we were more apt to capture paranormal evidence and see what we could get to the bottom of in this place, right? So that's what we did back in 2013 around Halloween time. In October, we took a team of people in there. We lived in it, and from the get-go, let me tell you, some of the craziest things that I've ever experienced happened to me in this house. Long story short, after a month, we took one of the guys who was a seasoned investigator who I know very well, and I'm not going to say any names, but within a week he was out of there. I saw a grown man crying like a little baby that said, "This place is pure evil, I'm out," and he rolled out. Other folks, this house would affect women in very really bad ways, female wise. Many things happen, and there's so much more to it. I mean, we could spend 5-6 shows talking about all the things we researched and found out about this place, but I'm just giving you the broad strokes. Right. So we lived in it, investigated it. Of course, the person that I was there with was into some dark stuff, tried to get me to constantly use Ouija boards. He knew I didn't use Ouija boards, and it came down to the point that, I said, "Dude, don't ask me to use it again, or we're going to have issues. I'm going to knock you out." So I told him, I said, "I'll film it for you. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to document paranormal evidence, but I'm not using one." And he, people like that are what I refer to as a demonic puppet. They're being used by negative entities to infect the rest of us, so to speak. Okay,
exactly.
Because
exactly.
When they treat it like it's a game and it's a show, it's a show what we're showing people, but it's real, man. You can't do that, and you can't influence people like that. If they tell you no, that's not what they're going to do. You got to take that to heart and say, "Okay, man, that's cool. You do you, I do me, whatever." Yeah. So, there was a few times where we took a few days off, and after a month, we came back again. We went back 3 more times for 2 weeks at a time, and I'll give you kind of the gist of it. But some crazy things started happening in my life. I went through a crazy divorce. My ex-wife said that she was having dreams of demons coming to her, and I thought she was full of BS. But now I look back on it, it was probably real. Yeah. But I went through a crazy divorce, almost went financially ruined, and I found out I had an attachment, after all this stuff. And that's when I found out I had cancer in my leg and all kinds of crazy stuff that came out of nowhere. So once I figured out what was going on, I went and got blessed by a Catholic priest, a shaman, and a Baptist minister. And I kid you not, in a few weeks, everything seemed to turn around and go back to pretty much normal. But that book was the first book I ever wrote. It was shelved for several years. Weatherly added some really great stuff to it, and of course helped me write it, because that's, I'm learning to become a writer. I'm not a writer. So I tell it just like we're talking now, what happened to me, what I experienced, what I saw, and what happened to other people. And there's some other input in there. Weatherly talks about the area, some of the history and the lore in the area. We found out that there was numerous witch covens in that whole city. There were satanic murders and animal sacrifices going on all throughout the satanic panic era of the 80s, and just more and more. And he found out too that the murder rate was higher in that little city than it was in New York City. Wow. So, this place was, if you trace it way back to its original origins from the Native Americans and the wars that took place there, and the desecration of the graves and everything else. And there's some stuff in there that, I really want people to read this book, because we met with a Native American shaman from that tribe secretly, me, Zaphis, and the guy that was with us. And when I shook the man's hand, it was like electricity went through my entire body. This man was very powerful. He told us what needed to be done at the house. Of course, the guy I was with ended up buying the house. And of course, he was a demonic puppet, so to speak, and would not do what the shaman told him to do. And some bad stuff happened. You know, he told us, he said the house must be torn down. He said the only thing that's keeping you guys anywhere safe right now is the Native American spirits are holding back the evil in that house. And he said, you got to tear that house down. It has to be, you have to build a medicine garden and a water feature there, and everything will subside. But until what's being done now is just holding it back. It's just holding it back. And, you know, so I can't, we weren't allowed to mention his name in the book. I mean, he's very high up, and he goes, you know, he lobbies in DC and everything else. So, you know how that goes. So, you know, it was my first book. It was one of the most profound things that I ever experienced. When you immerse yourself in an evil place like that, you're asking for trouble, and I got it. And I'm telling you, it was not pretty. And here again, we finally got to release it because some things transpired that there were some legal issues that had to be worked out before we could release it. And we got it released. It's been sitting on the shelf for over 5 years. Done.
Yeah, I'm glad it's out, man. I'm glad it's out. And I think it's going to be a great book. So, folks, look, you got to get Wicked 46, a haunting in Pennsylvania, and take a look at it. The others you've got out there, the real West Virginia UFOs. I know you put a lot into that. And then you have Willows Weep, the beginning, and another wonderful house at the History Channel, and many believe is one of the most evilest places in the country. West Virginia Bigfoot is a great book also, and then the real West Virginia Hauntings, volume number 1, and I know there's a volume number 2 coming from you,
oh yeah, there's will be 2, 3, and 4 most likely in that series. I had to do these other books first, but a lot of stuff going on, you know, with the books, because basically it's off of my case files and what I've done, and you guys are in Willows Weep, the book. You know, Bear and his crew are in there. They've all been there. They've experienced the week firsthand. Bear will tell you it's not pretty himself.
It's not pretty. That's true.
Happened to him there because of that place. Billy's been there, caught a really great thermal image there. And you know, you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's mundane, sometimes it's off the chain. There, it's another. And that place is nothing but a portal that needs to be closed, and I'm going to be closing it soon.
Right.
I'll tell you that. So it's allowing anything and everything to come through, and it's not good. So
that's true. That's true.
So that will be the second and last book from the week when that comes out. So
yeah. Well, hopefully that I'll be able to come with you and help with that, because
we're taking the whole crew.
Yeah.
You guys will be there. It's gonna be wicked.
Yeah, say the least. Well, brother, listen, folks, it's been a pleasure, and it's an honor to have you on again, Dave. Absolutely. Thank you for going where we went tonight. It was needed, and I think that it's a great show. Chat room, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been such a pleasure.
Check out my website too, guys.
That's where I wanted to say. Let's get to the website and other places where you can find out what Dave's doing and what else going on.
www.davespinks.paranormalinvestigator.com. You can find out what events I'll be appearing at. I'll have my books there. If you're in the area, come on by and see me at my table, and everything else that's going on, you know. So
yep. And I think we'll be having an event, and we're working on one in October also that will be pretty cool. And so we'll be seeing each other soon, I know. So
but it's getting spooky time here.
That's it. I know you got to go because you got some stuff you got to do. And give Serenity Johnny our love as always. And everybody, thank you again for tuning in to Into the Far. Next week, We have Kevin Briggs, a UFO experiencer and one that also is into universal consciousness, has written 2 books on the subject. We're going to be talking about that. And we're also going to talk about his ability to be able to communicate with ET. So stay tuned for that one next week on Into the Far. Thank you all. You have a good night. Bless you all.
Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
guys.
Good night.